Is it as hard as being a parent? Probably not. But is it something that you should be disrespecting because you have no fucking clue what you're talking about? Probably not. And what does it mean to throw stones at a glass house? That sentence doesn't make sense in the context that you're trying to fucking use it in. And it's one of the most common references that you can use. If I were throwing stones, making sure that I wasn't living in a glass house, I'd be like a parent of 4 kids who lets my kids play video games and they're all fucked up. And I'd be talking about parents who can't manage their kids. That's how you would use that phrase. Not when you're talking to someone who's not even old enough to legally drink on the internet talking over video games, okay? You don't even know, as what I would assume to be an older woman, like basic phrases. I don't understand like what's going on here, but my boys are not allowed to play video games, and for good reason. They can't control the time that they spend on it. We tried this whole thing with their Xbox where they can only play for 2 hours a day and they refuse to listen. So now they get no Xbox, and while they clamor on about it all the time, ask for new games on Christmas and birthdays, we refuse as parents to allow them to fall into the same traps that people like you advocate for. To also pretend that video games have no impact on society is insane. We don't live in the United States, but we see all of the shootings, madness, etc. that happens there, and as a country that has so many video games, it's no coincidence that the country sees many things like that happen. Yet another reason why our boys aren't allowed to have video games anymore. Okay, your kids probably dislike you for being this way, okay? And that's okay. You have made that executive decision as a parent to not let them play video games. I can't really debate you on that one. They're your kids. If that's what you feel is necessary, then whatever, right? But let me ask you a few questions in return here. How in the fuck could you not control their Xbox usage? You are the parent, right? I mean, I would assume you're the one who pays for, like, the Xbox Online memberships, bought the Xbox, bought all the accessories for it, pay the rent or whatever at the house. And you can't figure out how to, like, let them, like, get them in a schedule to play video games on a routine and not 9 hours a day, right? You just couldn't figure that one out. That was too far beyond your abilities to do anything here as a parent. But whatever, you know, at least you've come to some, I guess, decision that isn't them playing Fortnite for literally the whole day. But yeah, so as someone who lives in the United States, I've got to say, the whole shooting things has definitely died down a lot since COVID and since a lot of places have been, like, restricted or kind of closed. It's kind of sad that it took a global pandemic to make sure there wasn't as much of a mass shooting problem, but it's entirely a coincidence that there's a lot of video games here and things like that happen. If you want to look at the, I guess, real roots of issues like that, think about the fact that there are tens of millions of guns in the United States. We have the Second Amendment, which allows people the right to bear arms. And the fact that, like, probably the majority of American households have guns, and then you combine that with the fact that the United States treats mental illnesses kind of like jokes. Like, we're, I think, 34th in the world in mental health, and it's literally just a recipe for disaster. I mean, it really, I don't think, is such a nuanced situation that video games come down to being the root of the problem here. No, it has nothing to do with that. Video games have existed since, what, the 1960s, the 1970s, and guess what? The trend does not correlate, okay? Science has already proven this. The trend doesn't correlate. And let me go ahead and just insert this as well. If you think that your children are so, like, mentally fringed that them playing video games would lead to them killing fucking people, like, literally killing, I think that says a lot as, you know, a statement about your parenting and about your lack of care for their mental health, okay? If they're so on the edge, right, that, like, playing Call of Duty is gonna make them drop a fucking nuclear kill streak in the local mall, then I have bad news for you. The video games aren't the problem. Your kids are just fucked up in the head, and maybe they need to go see somebody, okay? Last time we went into a game store, it's been a long time, the kids in there acted like spoiled brats, yelling about not getting things, crying, stomping feet. That's the behavior you defend? It was pitiful. Our boys were going down this road as well until we intervened. They aren't even allowed to play video games at friends' homes either. If they pack an overnight bag and leave the house, they are fully aware that if they're discovered playing a video game that they will be grounded. So while you sit there and lie on your YouTube channel to these impressionable people watching, just realize that real parents are making real decisions to handle their children. And while you lie on the internet and defend these video games and these people doing awful things to other people, let us do our jobs as parents, okay? Yeah, I've seen kids in Walmart do the same thing over Hasbro toys. Should we ban toys? And your boy's going down that road as well, and about you as a parent, right? The fact that that was even really a huge concern, that your kids were just acting fucking psychotic. That's not really a video game problem, once again. So I guess you as a parent have made these executive decisions, and I respect those, right? If you don't want your kids playing video games, whatever, right? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to let them play. But when you're trying to accuse me now of defending mass shooters, people who do evil shit, is where I'm gonna go ahead and draw the line.